Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to continue working on the Craftsman T240 with the Kohler engine. Hopefully you saw one of my previous videos where I was doing some yard work in the back and the motor cut out on me. We went through, checked everything to make sure we had air, we had fuel, and we had spark. And everything was there, but I don't think there was enough spark. And so what I did was I ordered a maintenance kit. We're going to get this unboxed and then go through and perform the maintenance on the mower. Now before we begin, I need to bring the mower closer. I moved it out of the way just because a lot has happened since I first started this video, and now I am ready to put it back into place. Again, hydraulic transmission is disconnected. Oh, and if you want to move it, make sure your brake's disconnected too. Now that we're in position, get anything now, because I think what's happening is I think there's too much fuel that's building up in the cylinders, and with not enough spark it's not igniting. There's a couple different little things going on. The pre-filter was completely clogged. That was one of the first things that I noticed. The air filter wasn't terribly dirty, but if you really look close, it's pretty packed. So we need to clean all of this up too. But this kit is supposed to include 2 spark plugs, fuel filter, oil and air filter, and pre-filter. So let's get that unboxed. Now hopefully they sent me what I ordered and it's not the wrong thing. Sleep, packing material. Let's see what we got here. All right, so we got our oil filter, fuel filter. I see a spark plug. Oh, there's another one back there. Yep, can't deal with shipping issues. I'm sure it's fine. We have our air filter, we have our air pre-filter, and then we have our 2 quarts of oil. That should be all that we need. Now again, I think my issue with the mower is that it's just not simply getting enough spark. So this will help me determine that. It was a lot cheaper to buy the kit than it was to source the parts individually. And unfortunately, Lowe's doesn't stock this, so it had to be ordered from their warehouse. Which is why we've had such a delay. Professional unboxing. That looks all right. It's not all beat up or anything. When I went to order this, I initially ordered the wrong one because there's actually 2 versions of this engine, and one of them, I think it's called the Pro filter. The air filter is actually a little bit taller, and a lot of people were complaining that, oh, the kit doesn't fit, it doesn't fit, but it was because they ordered the wrong one, and somebody made a comment on there that clarified it. So to you who made that comment, thank you very much, because that helped me tremendously. Spark plugs. Got a 10 W30 synthetic blend. kind of hard to read. Maybe that's the kit number. These are the series of engines that it fits. I don't know if you guys can read that, but hopefully so. If you do have any questions about it, feel free to leave me a comment. Leave your question as a comment, and I will be happy to answer it the best that I can. All right, well, let's get started. Now, if you remember earlier in the video, I used my drill to break loose the spark plugs, and I'm strongly advised against that. I have since tracked down my socket wrench, so we should be able to do a more better removal of that. A little bit of prying action. This thing is far dirtier than the tractor ever was. And I am not a professional at any of this stuff. I'm just doing it and bringing you guys along. Hopefully you are enjoying it. All right, our gap looks good. So I think that'll be fine. I'll go ahead and get this one put in. Whenever you're putting spark plugs in, you want to make sure you're doing it nice and gentle. You don't ever want to force them. The moment you feel any tension, there's a chance there's either dirt in the threads or it's cross-threaded, and you want to stop, you want to back out, and you want to check your threads. This cross-threading is not good. I'm not using my torque wrench on this today, but I'm putting a moderate amount of pressure on it. You kind of feel it out a little bit. If you've ever done it before, you know what I'm talking about. If it's your first time, just be gentle. You want enough on there that it's not going to back out, but you don't want too much. Too much pressure tightening. We had already pulled this one before, so it was a little easier to take off. And definitely a little easier to get out. And these are original plugs. They have never been removed. I don't know that the oil has ever been changed on this mower. I put a set of blades on it a couple of years ago. That's about the only thing that's been done. It's only been used a few times, and I checked the oil and it looks fine, so I never really worried about changing it. Which is on me. Time was also an issue with that as well. Tightening. Again, just we're not over tightening, we're not putting too much pressure, just enough. Right, so that's good. Put this one back on. Now I don't have any on me. Normally I would put a little bit of dielectric grease on these terminals. That just kind of helps, especially with something like this, because you'll be out. It's going to be, you know, either humidity or you're going to be cutting wet grass. Anything can interfere with those. All right, that's our spark plugs replaced, and just out of sheer morbid curiosity at this point, I just want to see if that takes care of it, if the engine will fire up now that we've got new plugs in there. All right, so let's push our brake. Key on, and may have a weak battery too. Yep, that's what's going on there. So before I can even check that, I need to get the battery charger back on this. because what I did was I left the key on the other day. So that's on me. Shame on me. All right, be right back. My setup is a little further away from my power outlet, so I had to grab an extension cord. Now, I try real hard to have everything as set up as possible before I start one of my projects, but inevitably something gets missed. There we go. Positive. Negative. Charging. There's our voltage at. Alright, so charging node, so we'll let that charge for a little while. We can focus on some of the rest of it. I want to clean this up a little bit because it's looking a little dirty in there, and I want to run the risk of contaminating. And I want to get this, I guess, quick oil change thing off of here. But I want to kind of get a better look at what I'm doing. So let's back to using our Zep. Give that a second or two to sit. Like this is going to make a mess. Pull off. Honestly, it looks like it already has. There we go. As long as I capture it all, I'm okay. I hate spilling oil. And let's open our top up a little bit. We're just going to let that drain. Get our filter pulled off. And these filters, you don't put a big wrench on these things. All you need is to get it tight, and then maybe a turn and a half. But if you're having to go beast mode on it to get it tight, or if you're using a big wrench, that's too tight. It's not necessary. This one I think could have been a little bit tighter. All right, we'll continue to let that drain. I want to kind of clean up in the little air box area here a little bit. I'm not spraying this directly into it. I'm going to put some on my rag. Screwdriver, get into the little hard to reach corners that my fingies can't make. I just got attacked by a wasp or something. It was not pleasant, but it was a brief encounter. This dirt has probably been in here forever. All right, so that looks better. Oil, it looks like it's drained out. Probably about as good as it's going to go. So let's go ahead and prep our oil filter. All we're going to do, and I'm sure you guys know this, we're just going to dip our finger, rub a little on there. Helps with the seal, and it helps reduce friction. Find our threads, and just gently screw it into place. No resistance. About hand tight right there. There's still a little bit more dripping out there. I'll let it continue to drain. Okay. Tilt action. No. We'll go ahead and place our air filter. It just sets on top and then kind of locks into place a little bit. And the pre-filter just wraps around it. And this is something you guys want to check after every couple of cuts, just to make sure that it doesn't end up like this. Let's go ahead and work on cleaning this up. Oh, that has some serious buildup on it. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I can certainly feel it. Let's go ahead and clean up our oil plug thing. All right. Go ahead and this plug put back in. Now that we got this all cleaned up, we can go and get it put back in. There was some kind of thread locker or something on that. I really feel like that must have come with this engine. I'll have to look into that. Right into the oil. Thankfully not. Finish up our cover. On there. Locks back into place. Okay, so we got our oil filter, oil drain plug, spark plugs, and air filter. Come on. Go ahead and take care of the fuel filter next. All right, let's go ahead and get our fuel filter swapped out. Clip out of the way. Maybe. Yeah, this clip out of the way. And we're going to drop some fuel for sure. Oh, I'm sure this is long overdue for a replacement. thumb over there. All right. So that's on. That's on. Oh, that wasn't too bad. I've done these before and I accidentally let the clips get it out of the way, and I had to go and take it all back off again to bring the clips over. So we're just going to slide these guys back where they were. Fuel filter installed. Now we're ready to start, right? No, we need to put our oil in. That was a test. Oh, hey, that's great. Normally got to get in there and take the little seal off. Let's see how well this goes. And pouring. See, you let me get away with it. It says it right there. Don't pour it like that. Pour it like this. No glug. And again, this is not a how to do it channel. This is how I do it, and I'm learning as I go. And hopefully you're learning too, or at least having a good time. That last little drops out of there. See if we get anything. Tippy top, or the tippy tip. Right. Quart number 2. Pouring. See anything. Over again, we got oil filter, fuel filter, air filter, spark plugs, battery charging. I'm gonna let it go ahead and give me a complete. When it does, we'll turn it over and see what happens. All right, got my mess cleaned up, more or less. Battery is fully charged. I'm not seeing any oil leaks. I'm seeing some residual wetness, but we'll come back and check that in a little bit. Now I'm just anxious to see if it'll fire up. Alright, so we got our choke on, brake is locked, so that's starting. Question is, will it stay running? And was my theory correct that it was just not enough spark that was causing the problem? I guess there's only one way to find out. That'll be to take it for a ride. I will tell you, I feel silly. I'm sitting here trying to get it to go backwards or forwards and nothing's happening. and I realize I have disengaged the hydrostatic transmission. So, very important when you're ready to operate your mower with a hydrostatic transmission, you want to re-engage the hydrostatic transmission. Otherwise, it's not going to go anywhere. Ruh-roh. Not again. Oh no, did I run out of fuel? Now I'm out of fuel. All right, guys, let me go grab some fuel. I'll be right back. I don't like the nozzles on these fuel tanks, and I feel like every year they make them different and they overcomplicate them. I have a solution for that. I don't know if it's the right solution, but I know it's going to work. So I do have a video on nozzles coming up very soon, so stay tuned for that. All right, so I got my gas, got my overcomplicated nozzle. The struggle is real on these things. Okay, a little bit of gas in there. Cap's back on. Turn it over a couple of times. Fuel in our fuel filter. Choke. There may be something more going on with this motor if it's doing that. Hopefully it's not a valve issue. Alright, let's go for a ride. Well, several things of importance that we've learned. We all know, hopefully, that the engine needs fuel, it needs air, and it needs spark. And then sometimes you need to go back and add fuel. And before you can go anywhere, you need to engage the hydrostatic transmission in this particular model. So I appreciate you guys being with me today. I'm very happy to have this mower running again. So yeah, now all of our equipment is working that we need just for the basic maintenance of the property. Now we can move forward. This has been a very nice table. It's really tiny. I'm ready for a bigger table because I need the work real estate, the workspace, and work through and start getting the rest of our stuff cleaned up. I know, I feel like that's all I say is, oh, I gotta get this cleaned up. Well, I do. And one little roadblock after the next, but that's perfectly fine because that's all part of it. And ultimately, getting into the shop, getting it cleaned out, that's going to be boss level for me right there. All right, guys, have a great day.